shocking and emotional, and it totally blew me away.
Did you know that Riley Keough, Elvis Presley's granddaughter, is fighting a shocking legal war to save the family's legacy? From hidden family secrets to intense courtroom battles, Riley's journey will leave you speechless. You won't believe what's been uncovered about Graceland's fate in a high-stakes fraud that nearly cost her everything. If you call yourself an Elvis fan but aren't subscribed, are you even a real fan? Hit that button and prove it.
Riley Keough was shot to mainstream fame after stealing the show in Daisy Jones and the Six. She brought about a storm of attention not just upon her acting skills, but, rather unexpectedly, that of the savior of the Presley legacy. And to appreciate the struggles of Riley's life, we should glance over her early days and the events that molded her, not to mention her distinguished ancestry. Elvis Presley's story was the stuff of legend, but this family drama will keep you all on your toes. Born on January 8, 1935, in Tupelo, Mississippi, Elvis Aaron Presley was born 35 minutes after his twin brother, Jesse Garon, who had been born still, had taken his last breath to Vernon and Gladys Presley. Thus, Elvis was born into a life destined for greatness. His unassuming introduction to life soon got caught up in a flowing vortex of success during a rise to international fame as he placed a mark upon the world with his powerful voice in rock and roll, and forever placed his mark on music and pop culture. However, aside from the hits, fame is another dimension. Elvis Presley's quieter legacy was one about family. To him, Lisa Marie Presley was the apple of his eye, absolute heart and soul. And to be sure, Lisa Marie was the inheritor of his talent as much as his stormy life. She logically had to bear the responsibility for continuing the Presley legacy. Heavy is the head that wears the crown, and quite aptly, that would be a fact in Lisa Marie's life story wrestling with the burden of trying to live up to her father's reputation. Like her father, Lisa Marie's life was thus akin to a roller coaster flickering between precarious highs of triumph and tragic, heartbreaking lows. In 1988, Lisa Marie married the musician Danny Keough, and a fairy tale began. Just 1 year after their union, they were blessed with a daughter named Riley Keough, born on May 29, 1989 in Santa Monica, California. It was a historic moment when the fresh-faced heir of the Presley dynasty was born. But this was not just an ordinary family. They lived under the constant scrutinizing eye of the public, whereby everything they did was watched and every decision made analyzed. Young Riley was born into a world wedged between two disparate universes. Whereas Lisa Marie's mother brought along wealth and fame belonging to the child of Elvis Presley, on another scale, her father, Danny Keough, lived a very simple and much more low-key life. So while Riley would flip between opulent homes, including the fabled Graceland estate, she was also being exposed to the tranquil charm of a life led by her dad. He had never lived in mansions, but had chosen cabins and trailer parks where life was passing much slower and quieter. Riley said about her childhood, "I grew up privileged with my mother, but my dad didn't live like that," she warmly recalls. "My memories of growing up with him were so strange and fun." This was a far cry from her upbringing, shaping her into the woman she is today. It gave her a different perspective on life, a window through which she viewed life's two sides, all that glitz and glamour versus the daily hustle. And this mix of experiences has molded her and helped her mature into the capable, balanced individual she is today. It is said that change is the only constant, which is well known to Riley. Being a part of the highly famous Presley family, her life wasn't close to normal. At an age as tender as 5, Riley's world was all shaken up since her parents decided to separate. Soon after, her mother married the king of pop, Michael Jackson. Life for young Riley was pretty chaotic back then, As she mostly went back and forth between her mother's high-end mansion in Los Angeles, her father's modest abode, and the very epitome of something Presley Graceland. To Riley's ever-changing life, Graceland was just a house. It was a reminder of all that the name Presley represented. Changes inevitable with the imposition brought onto Riley included homeschooling, which fit perfectly into the unpredictable nature of her family's life. Whoever came in and out of her mother's life changed nothing between Riley and the legacy of her grandfather Elvis. Life had taken a turn after the sudden death of Lisa Marie in January 2023, and young Riley had the enormous responsibility of managing the affairs of Graceland. She turned out to be the keeper and preserver of her family's history. At such a tender age of 13, this young lass has seen the ups and downs of life like few mortals will ever see. Her mother's short-lived marriage was to actor Nicolas Cage. That was another difficult layer on top of the family. However, amidst all that chaos, Riley did steer her way. She paved her way through life, sailing between the luxuries of being a Presley and the mere down-to-earth life cultivated by her dad. However, her plunge into fame wasn't solely through acting. At 15, Riley hit the runway, starting her modeling career with a grace and poise that felt distinctly inherited from her iconic lineage. Every journey starts with one step, and back in 2004, that first step of her remarkable journey was taken while she dazzled at the autumn-winter showcase of Dolce & Gabbana. That was her showstopper moment, which gave her the golden ticket to international popularity. In 2005, she walked the ramp for Christian Dior Fresh and Breezy in their spring-summer collection. But then, Riley was not just another name that rolled off the tongues of people in the modeling industry. She had the Presley aura tagged onto her, which would turn heads and wreak gasps of admiration across the globe. At 16, she was a sensation, gracing the most coveted US Vogue cover of every model's dream. That year, in 2005, the striking visuals could be seen in Japanese Elle, Korean Vogue, and French magazines JLo and Liesel. It was evident that Riley had more than just her grandfather's name. She managed to have that charismatic charm and capture the attention of audiences worldwide. But modeling was only an appetizer for Riley. Soon, her passion for telling stories drove her into the sparkling world of movies. At 20, she appeared on the silver screen in The Runaways, a tale about an all-girl rock band that rose to fame in the 1970s. Riley played a sister to the lead vocalist of the band, Cherie Currie, named Marie Currie. The film enjoyed huge success the moment it showed up at the Sundance Film Festival, and the incredible acting by Riley did not go unnoticed. The following year, Riley took the movie industry by storm again when she played the female lead in The Good Doctor. She shared the big screen with Orlando Bloom and Taraji P. Henson. In the film, she remarkably portrayed Diane Nixon, a young patient with a kidney infection who becomes the object of her doctor's obsession. The role was not easy, but with Riley's multi-dimensional portrayal of the character, reviews by critics came out absolutely rave. This sealed her presence in the industry. Indeed, she was a powerhouse of talent that could be well looked out for, and that is history. But little did she know life would have something else in store for her. Is it not always the case that high-profile families and their estates have some sort of twist in the tale? A little more than over a year ago, the residents of the prestigious Graceland mansion had a changing of the guard. The baton was being passed to the new overseer, Riley Keough. Being other than the sole heir and, moreover, the granddaughter of the timelessly legendary Elvis Presley, Riley stepped right into a ton of responsibility, but duly so, right into a whole load of drama too. Well, as expected, it was not like taking a leisurely stroll along a pathway of rose petals for Riley. She found herself confronting several legal tussles. Taking her very own Grandma Priscilla to court was the least of it. The bone of contention was merely who was to steer the ship of the Graceland estate. If this was not enough on her plate, the tragic loss of her mother just about tore the very family apart. It was amidst all this chaos that Riley dropped a bombshell, as it were, which straight away got the world to sit up and take a lot of interest in it. Scoop. Immediately after the sad demise of the King of Rock, Elvis Presley, everyone's eyes were turned to Priscilla. Everyone said she was best suited to handle the reins of the estate. But then, the plot did thicken when certain statements were made by Riley himself that seemed to confirm what we had always suspected. In 1957, Elvis was already an upcoming star and made his first big luxury purchase, Graceland. Our king of rock and roll, whose hordes of fans would score him as being on par with the superstars of today, lived in another house in those days. But let's get real. Elvis's appeal was unavoidable and crowds would throng outside his residence, making the people in the neighborhood do a jittery dance. So Elvis, being the gentleman that he was, decided to move rather than be some kind of disturbance to those around him. Can you believe it? He gave his doting parents $100,000 to scout the most perfect abode for him. Voila! In came Graceland, that majestic estate costing our superstar a modest $12,500. But oh no, Elvis wasn't done just yet. Out came the purse strings, and with it, oodles of cash, to be precise. $500,000 to spruce up Graceland. There was a distinctively pink Alabama fieldstone wall built around the property that, through the years, has been a canvas for fans to leave their mark-scrawling messages and, at times, unfortunately in damage. Graceland, which Elvis Presley had called home, had been much more than just bricks and mortar. It was a proud emblem of his soaring success and considerable wealth. It was the epicenter of his life. News about the death of Elvis Presley was like a bolt from the sky, with the whole world in shock. Music lovers were devastated, and his hardcore fans went into a tizzy. People showed their condolences. Candlelight processions with bunches of flowers were seen at the doors of his beloved house, Graceland. News of his death was received like an earthquake, with the media frenzy no less loud than reporters and photographers piling into Memphis to capture each and every piece of the action that was unfolding before their very cameras. The immediate question that was on most people's minds once Elvis was gone was, what now? What would become of his estate and the stately Graceland mansion? Initially, his family was fully occupied with making arrangements for Elvis's last rites. But events started to take a weird turn as time passed. For Lisa Marie Presley, the only offspring of Elvis and keeper of Graceland, it all went tragically wrong. She died in January 2023 due to complications after bariatric surgery. The struggle for custody of the estate was on, and all hell had broken loose following her death. The stage was prepared for a legal battle between Priscilla, Lisa's ever-embroiled mother, and Riley, Lisa's daughter. This is because Priscilla was instrumental in turning Graceland into a museum in 1982. While it had been expected that her three daughters, the daughters of Lisa, would inherit the estate after Lisa's sunset, behold, just 4 days after Lisa's death, Priscilla filed court papers. It was said that she had taken issue with a 2016 amendment to Lisa's will, in which Priscilla and another person were removed as trustees. Lisa's 2 eldest children took that position. This sparked months of talks and negotiations until an agreement was reached in May. By August, Riley was the sole trustee of Graceland. By now, every nook and cranny of Graceland sported that gaudy style that perfectly reflected Elvis's over-the-top personality and his deep pockets. Through popular trends from the late 1960s into the early 1970s, Elvis specified the design aesthetic for Graceland. That was the time of vibrant colors, flashy designs, and eclectic furniture. Thus, it is no surprise that Graceland does not exactly fit with the streamlined and minimalistic interiors of our 2024 housing trends. But then again, Graceland was never made to be typical because it was made to stay a cheer for the king of rock and roll. In 1977, the ever-famous rock and roll King Elvis died at 42. That left a huge legacy in the hands of his only darling daughter, Lisa Marie. She was still a child at 9, so her mother, Priscilla Presley, stepped in to keep the flame of Elvis's legacy alive. The smart Priscilla turned Graceland into a paying business and attracted all Elvis fans worldwide. Lisa Marie inherited Graceland when she reached the age of 25 years and continued to keep her daddy's memories alive within the walls. In 2016, Lisa Marie did an about-face, acting like a river that's changed course. She ordered her kids, Riley and Benjamin Keough, to begin running Graceland and a chunk of Elvis Presley Enterprises, the clearest sign yet that she wants to pass the baton of the family legacy directly to her own children. But sometimes, life does not go according to plan. Tragedy came in the name of Benjamin, who was suddenly gone. Poor Riley was left all to his lonesome self with the heavy responsibility of trust management amidst personal grief and whirlwinds of family tensions. It was a shock when Priscilla contested the changes Lisa Marie made in her will. The accusations came thick and fast, with battle lines drawn in court. Here was yet another time the Elvis legacy was contentious, pitting two females dead, set on protecting it. All good things must come to an end. Such was the case in May 2023 when, after a long, exhaustive, and often painful litigation process, a settlement was finally reached. It was a settlement imbued with intricacies, but such peace as there was brought to the Presley family. Just when this family thought they could catch their breath, another unforeseen legal battle blew its head in May 2024.
I mean, all I can hope is that he is proud of, me and my mom and our whole family, wherever he is.
Something like Nasani Investments claimed the late Lisa Marie owed them some hefty amount secured as collateral on Graceland. They wanted to auction it off, and something just clicked with Riley. She stood her ground for her family's legacy. She immediately confronted Riley, claiming that loan documents provided to her by Nasani Investments were not only forged but unenforceable. An intense investigation later revealed that Nasani might not even be a legitimate company. Then came the big break. A Tennessee judge granted Riley a restraining order against the sale of Graceland. But it was not to be the end of the saga. Just shortly after the judge had ruled, Nasani suddenly dropped its attempt to auction Graceland, leaving behind a cloud of mystery. That would be a wild understatement, as was revealed in a shocking New York Times article about Nasani Investments being all along the front of a sophisticated ring of identity thieves targeting the estates of the deceased. So here came confirmation upon confirmation of Riley's accusations that Nasani's loan documents were a sham. However, quick thinking on his part meant that Graceland would remain out of these criminals' clutches. The dust has long since settled, but Riley presses on. She's not just caring for a grand estate, she's preserving her family's legacy. Only a few people know that Riley also took on the supremely emotional project of readying Lisa Marie's autobiography for publication. So, what's your take on this, guys? Let us know in the comment below. And if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more awesome content.